Good morning, everybody. So this week, today, we're going to focus on some topics over here that are super important from a personal reason, from a community reason, from a healing reason, from the standpoint of the fact that sometimes we wind up in some bad situations. And then the question is, what do we do with those bad situations? And I've seen this in so many different places, so many different aspects of what we do or what we become, probably what we become, not even so much as what we do, but what we become and where we see ourselves, how we fit into different places, how we work with different people, how sincere we are in what it is, that we wind up doing. So today I'm going to introduce you to a foundation that got started for one of those reasons that was a bad situation. Now, since our focus on this program has to do with the small, medium-sized business community, sharing different ideas from PR, marketing, and advertising and networking, kind of standpoint, we're going to talk about this topic. Talk about how businesses can get involved with these different foundations from a business strategic standpoint, if I may say that. And in certain formats we can. This one I think we can. And other times you find out why you're getting involved with a nonprofit, sometimes starting a nonprofit of your own, and what it is you're doing in the businesses that you're serving. And actually some of the businesses they're serving and why they get involved. And sometimes it's not business. It's not anything other than the pure emotional, side of it that you just need to do that. I can tell you just from an overall standpoint, now, and it probably has always been, it just seems like now everything's just so much more on the forefront of thoughts and ideas, is that we want to do business, right? If we're at a networking event, what do we want to do? We want to do business with people that we know, like, and trust. And then you have to have the knowledge behind you. Well, if you're sharing your stuff, you're sharing your stuff that you're going through, you've been through, and as you continue to move forward, well, now all of a sudden, I think you have that trust factor that just comes right out there, and if you share it, you know what? We all go through different things. We all have to deal with different things as we go through life. And that's just reality. It just truly is. So when you're out there, when you're looking at a nonprofit, and I'm hoping that we kind of touch on this one here today, but when you're looking at a nonprofit to support, how do you decide what to do? Well, sometimes it's your own situation that puts you into you're just doing this because you're just doing this because that is what you need to do, personally need to do. Forget everything else that goes along with it. Other times, perhaps you're serving a community, you wind up with family and friends, you get behind it that way. Whatever it might be, and I'll end on this and actually bring a guest on. But whatever it is that you do, however it is that you do, I am telling you the best thing that you could do for you, personally for you, is by getting involved in some nonprofit effort. This way, you could make that, not my comment, this I got from somebody else, make that goodwill deposit into somebody else's bank account. So you'll feel good about yourself as you continue to go through. That's important. So who are we speaking to today? We're speaking to founder, one leading the charge, the person behind the whole thing. We're speaking to the Michael Magro Foundation. Our guest today is Terri Magro. And Terri, I thank you greatly for joining us, here today. The importance of getting behind nonprofits is absolutely there. The reasons why they get started, just sometimes it's just absolutely terrible. And, you're one of those stories, why it got going. Interesting how it quickly evolved into what it is and the amount of effort you put into it. And so on behalf of everybody that you serve, and there's quite a few people over the years, thank you for doing what you do. Sorry for your reasons for doing it.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me this morning to join you. So as Brian, mentioned, people get involved with foundations for all different reasons. We got involved with it because of a journey that our family started in 2004 when both of my boys, which were 28 months apart, 11 and 13 at the time in 2004, were diagnosed with cancer within 3 months of each other. It was a devastating diagnosis when Mark was diagnosed. He was my 11-year-old and he had Hodgkin's lymphoma. He is also my cancer survivor. Months later, Michael was diagnosed with leukemia. Unbeknownst to us, we can't quite figure out how this all happened, but anyway, it happened. And so I'm a nurse myself. So clinically, I just grabbed onto this whole thing. And after Michael's passing, Paul and I, my husband Paul and I, decided what are we going to do? How are we going to get forward with this? How are we going to understand what happened? So just a brief, quick thing. We were introduced to a support group, which we had gone to a meeting at the support group, and I had high hopes for this support group to be able to guide me a little bit. When we got there and talking to the people, I realized I thought at the beginning that these people were there for the first time, had just lost a child within months, similar to Paul and I, and realized that they had been there for about 10 years. It was a group that had come together, had a lot of cohesiveness amongst themselves, but they were rehashing and doing the same things over and over again, some of which had lost a child 5 or 10 years prior. So at the end of that meeting, we walked out of there and I said to Paul, okay, this experience is not where I want to be. I certainly don't want to still be stuck, which is what I felt when I walked out of there. I wanted to heal and I wanted to do something positive. Michael's, name meant a lot to us. I wanted to honor his memory, and I wanted to be able to cherish Mark and him as a cancer survivor. So we struggled through some ideas and decided that the best way to move forward was to start a foundation in Michael's memory and to be able to help cancer children and families with children diagnosed with cancer and cancer survivors. So the Michael Magro Foundation started in 2000, the very end of 2004, we became incorporated as a 501c3 in 2005. And our mission is really to help those people grassroots on the ground. It's not a brick and mortar. It's not a big research-based foundation. It's all about the families. So when you start this, you need to put a board together. And we brought together a group of people that had walked with us through this entire journey and were with us for quite a few years and helped us to grow. And as the foundation grew, our mission started to expand to many hospitals. It started at NYU Langone, Long Island, which was formerly Winthrop, and the boys were both treated at the Cancer Center for Kids with Dr. Mark Weinblatt and the phenomenal staff over there. And we decided as a board, as a group, as we just put everything together, that we were going to help people just get through each day, because that was the journey that I saw. I mentioned that I was a nurse. As a nurse, I wasn't on the other side of that fence. Now I am. And I see how difficult it is and how much money goes through your hands and how your budget goes right out the window. And you really, really need to pull back and understand what's going on with your family dynamics. And you're not thinking about your utility bill and how are you going to pay your mortgage. And then all of a sudden these bills are falling behind and you're getting letters and you're getting threatening letters. And you're trying to talk to the social workers and they're trying to struggle helping you. So we went to the social workers and said, listen, rely on us to take that burden of cost off the family's plate. For the moment, that's all we could do. But if I can pay those utility bills, buy a couple of gift cards to give them gas in their car, buy groceries, buy diapers, help them with medication cost, co-pays, things of that nature, transportation to and from, parking. Parking alone can cost a fortune. That's basically, Brian, how we started this organization, and it has grown exponentially over the past 16 years.
Yeah, we personally, and with the been through a support group, the rest of it, on our story, different scenario, different reasons, but yeah. So I was commuting. I live in Long Island. I was commuting into one of the city hospitals, and those other expenses just continue to to add up. And you're right. You don't even think about that stuff. You don't even think about so many things that are going on, but yeah, the bills keep coming, the rest of that stuff. And it's so great, that you're able to support folks in that respect, or at least show, it's somebody that's showing that they care, it's like, is the foundation a support group? Technically, no, it's not a support group, but that stuff means so much, to different people as you go along, because that alone feeling, and being a nurse and then being a mom, when you're going through everything there, you must have been flipping back and forth on both sides, and that thing too. And it's not just you and Paul too. You have Mark,
Yeah,
he's going through everything here too and seeing everything.
right.
I
Yeah, yeah. I know, it's like you have no words, right? It's really unbelievable. I had, the second leg of my career was more into marketing and sales. And so I was working for companies where I was doing a tremendous amount of networking. So when we decided to start this organization, Paul looks at me and he goes, I don't know the first thing about starting a nonprofit, like tag, you're it. So I was like, no fear, no fear, we got this. And because I had so much experience with setting up fundraisers, that was my go-to. So I started to bring people onto the board, and people knew as well that had an understanding of how to put a fundraiser together and what the importance of it was. So we really raised the bulk of our money annually, and still to this day, by fundraisers. And so with that, I have chosen specific board members that are very well entrenched in the business world and are able to help us to grow and to start these different fundraisers and keep them going and have them raising more and more money every single year. We're an all volunteer board and everybody works full time. Myself, I just left NYU Langone, Long Island. I just retired last year, and Paul is a chef and a culinary instructor, and he's just doing some part-time work, and he substitutes when needed. But the entire board works full time. So it's a real testimonial to these business people that joined the board. And why did they join it? They joined it because they believed in the mission. They really saw the need to help the people, and that's what they like. So greater than 92, 93% of what we raise goes right back into it. We work out of my home. We have very few expenses. So the money goes right back. And that's the beauty of what we do. And that I would encourage people to always look at when they're thinking about joining a board, is how much money is really being spent and how much money is going to the mission. So we are able to help a tremendous amount of people, and each one of these board members, and fortunately, as your show continues this week, we're going to have the opportunity to meet and talk to a variety of different people in the nonprofit world and that are affiliated, and learn what brought them to it. But I'm a very big networker, and networking is a two-way street. So you try and help the business community as well as have the business community help the nonprofit, and you grow together. And believe me when I tell you, those relationships really go deep. We've had some people with us for decades.
Yeah, with businesses getting involved, there are some that do it for personal reasons. So there are certain things I do. It's just whatever you just do. That just becomes it. Others maybe a little bit more on the visible strategic side of things, but it still is always the right thing to do. And it's never just, look at the visibility side of it. As board members, they're probably doing a lot more behind the scenes than anybody would ever know. And from your perspective on that. And your perspective on that, this does not happen. The Magro Foundation does not happen unless you've got all kinds of people that are willing to put the time, energy, and effort into, not even the money, but the time, energy, and effort, into making these things happen.
100%.
And when rumor has it, when you do a fundraising event, that those first three letters, that fun side of it is just first and foremost, as it goes.
It is. It is. It is. We
That and
never want to
waistline
lose the
issues.
fun in fundraising.
Yeah, the
No,
food,
it's
the food event definitely needs that, the golf outings are there and they're great, and the car shows that you do, it's all good. But going
yeah,
back to Paul's area of expertise, which is it's a benefit on all sides. But the food event, which next year will be the big food event. well, pent up demand on that one. Everybody's cutting down on their calorie intake now, but you got to explain that one because that one is just unbelievably special.
It is. Paul had reached out to all of his colleagues, and Tom Scheidel, who's very well known as a chef on Long Island, and him sat down, and Tom said, why don't we just do a tasting event? So we started this tasting event, and we had, a few restaurants come, and the amount of people were overwhelming. We had like 11 restaurants, a couple of bakeries, and about 500 people. And we were like, oh my God, this is going to be really great. And we've done it now for 15 years. And now we're up to like 30 restaurants and, 10 bakeries. We have a whole bakery room, lots of raffles. People are so generous helping us get raffles, and, 600-700 people in attendance, which is fantastic. And we rent the Carlton at Eisenhower Park, and you just keep walking from room to room to room and eating and drinking and laughing. And then we bring everybody back at the end to just reiterate why we're there. But as you mentioned, and it's so true, we always want to make these events upbeat, positive, happy, but we do want to remember why we're there and what the mission is. So we never lose the fun, but that is a great fundraiser. Since COVID though, Brian, the problem is that restaurants are an industry that's struggling, the entire hospitality industry. So we're going to have to see how that goes for 2022, but I would love to be able to bring it back in some form next year, if that's possible. But no,
Hopefully it is.
Hopefully
It's it's just nothing but huge positive comments that come out of that.
I know.
Except for the one complaint, I can't believe how much I ate. The pants I wore were way too tight to begin with.
I know, we started telling people wear stretch pants and sneakers, just come comfortable, and it'll all work.
But we'll keep the Zoom thing going, right? So it'll be a face-to-face event. We'll just worry about wearing the proper clothes up top. Be comfortable to show up in our jammies. Well, like the midnight snack event. We'll just show up and
we'll just show up for that. This year, the big food event will be at the golf outing, which is June 10th, and we'll hear a lot more about that as the week goes on. But that Cold Spring Country Club does a phenomenal job with their food, so people eat their way through that event too. There seems to be a theme here with food and the Michael Magro Foundation.
It's just
it's amazing
how food brings us all together. But it just does. There was a friend that did a cooking a real estate show. So she did it though in the kitchen, cooking in the kitchen with real estate. It's because that's the room, right? I mean, that is the room, except for now with the Zoom stuff, but whatever. But that is the room that if you have company over, everybody seems to congregate. No matter how beautiful your living room is, it's like boom, everybody's in the kitchen, and that kind of thing. And it's great. So now let's just take a look at that event, right? The food event. From the businesses, the restaurants that participated in that, obviously they get a chance to highlight their food, and it's a big time generosity thing on their side because it's not just showing up.
Donated. Yeah.
And it's like if it's hot food or it needs to be prepared. If you're a bakery, you're not baking it weeks in advance. I mean, it's all fresh. So it's a big undertaking on the restaurant side to show up, at these things. That's a big one there.
Oh my God.
Right. But that, and some of your board members know that and understand. So the photos that come out of it, the comments that come out of it. So it is a great way for the restaurant to not show off their food, but also to show that they're part of the community, and that's one thing that has certainly happened over the past year with these restaurants. They've bent over backwards, where they ever possibly can, to show how much they've been keeping the place safe, going to takeout where they would normally do takeout. So it's a good message that they deliver, that they're part of the nonprofit community, also, and supporting the Magro Foundation,
right,
wherever they can.
And it's one, you got to remember, Brian, it's one of a few. There's a lot of other events that the restaurant and hospitality industry participate in as well. So they are a very, very generous community, and being personal friends, they really, brought their A game for sure. So the food was always fantastic, and it always occurred on a Monday. So a lot of times those restaurants were closed, and they prepared all day, and they showed up at 4:30, and the event kicks off at 6, and that's when all the food is starting to be served. So they're just a phenomenal group of people, and we support them in every way, shape, and form. So,
Mhm.
yeah, kudos.
And we'll meet some of the board members as the week progresses over here. But again, from a business getting involved, from a business standpoint, from a business getting involved in a nonprofit, and some of the folks that are there have got stories and personal friends. They've been there,
Right.
throughout on the whole thing. But every once in a while, or many times, when you're leading a foundation, such as yours, you're looking for people with certain expertise, not necessarily the emotional connection, with the foundation, which I'd imagine that grows no matter what, once you're
Right.
part of it, but it's business with different areas of expertise that you need to be a part of it. You need an accounting firm. You need the marketing, you need videographer, especially with these, so you do. You
Right.
need not only a videographer and a photographer, but one that knows how to shoot food photos.
Alex Wolf does a great job with that.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know.
Uh,
Okay.
Alex does, Ed Shin does, but yeah, they're fantastic. And you're absolutely right. We as we have grown, we've reached out to the business community and brought people in that really do have a great expertise to help. So, you have the accountant and the attorney, of course, and the physician on the board, but then it's the marketing, the social media people. We wouldn't be as far as we are today if we didn't have the marketing and social media presence that we have. And that's grown as a result of getting Gina DeMarco involved and Roy DeMarco, which we'll have an opportunity to meet. The car show went from a small little event at BOCES, which is where Paul taught, to a huge event that's bringing in, $10,000, $15,000 a year, and that's run by Tom Galati. Tom is in the digital world, and he's a car person, and he brought in his people, and so it just morphs, and those are the kinds of people. Young, energetic people that understand philanthropy and that can bring to the table their contacts. And once you have the opportunity to explain the mission, you can really start to engage the people. And that's what we want. We want those business alliances. I want to be able to support all of their businesses as much as they support the foundation and support the people they bring to us, which is really great. And that's how our circle has grown so much. So, for a small foundation that's raised $3 million in the past 16 years, compared to very large organizations, we have sustained ourselves. And oftentimes, small foundations of our size do not sustain themselves past maybe 3 years. So it's a testimonial to really all of our board members, because they work, as you mentioned prior, they work so hard behind the scenes to make sure everything is coming together. And they are my ambassadors. That's what you need out there. You need people to be able to tell the mission and have a understanding of it and have a passion for it. So they're getting that message across. It's not just, you have to write a check, period, the end. This is more than just writing a check. I don't care if you give us $5, $50, $500. It's just the idea that you're involved and that you're starting to work with us, and you can bring to us your group, your support group, and help us grow exponentially. And we've grown now to, Brian, actually the hospitals, the 4 or 5 hospitals locally that we work with on Long Island and New York. Now we've grown to help hospitals almost across the United States. We're as far west as Oregon, helping families.
It's actually incredible that you're able to do that. Given the fact you're all volunteers, which is a factor in there, but sometimes, many times, those volunteers, those people that show up because they just want to, need to, truly support the efforts of the foundation and you, because you've been just such a great part of the community forever. So thank you for that, that side of it. But to continue on and reach a different geographical location too, it creates other little issues that sometimes maybe not issues, like keeping track of all of these, the families, the money spent, the bills. So when you're helping somebody with a bill, just logistically, are you writing a check or paying directly to the bill, or are you giving it to the family to then make it?
We work direct, the social workers are our point of contact, and the social worker will scan in the utility bill, the telephone bill, the rent bill to me, and then I pay the people directly. So I'll pay the utility bill, the Geico's, the car insurances of the world, whatever, in whatever part of the United States they live. So that's how it's done. If a social worker says, you know what, Terry, this family could really, they're struggling a little bit, I love to get involved with the siblings because they get kind of lost sometimes in the shuffle when you're focusing so much on the sick child, and they'll say, you know, they have a birthday coming up, they have this happening. Could you support just the family to go out to dinner, to buy something fun? We do a lot of that type of thing as well. So I take my lead from the social workers, and the social workers, case managers, child life specialists, the remarkable groups of professionals. They network a lot amongst themselves, so they help to spread the word as well. And then I usually try and get together and have some sort of a Zoom call at this point with these people throughout the United States and talk to them about what the mission is. And once we kind of, they understand what we do, then that word starts to spread, and the social workers will start to call me from different places. I just received something yesterday from a mom, and the hospital is in Texas, and it's a new hospital for me, and that's how I gain that interest. So I'll reach out today. I emailed her back and said, please tell me the social worker's name and contact information. And today I'll call the social worker, introduce myself on behalf of the family. And then she will go back to the family, of course, first to talk to them and say there was a reach from a nonprofit. They want to help, because we have to have all those HIPAA guidelines, right? We can't forget all the rules and regulations. And then we'll kind of work together with the family, the social worker, and myself to prioritize what their needs are, and whether it's bills being paid, which is usually what it is, something to help, maybe gifts for the kids, things like that. We'll ship things.
The logistical side of this is
Logistics
outright
is,
amazing. It's just amazing. So you're playing, oh my, you're playing social work. I'm sure, you know, that
right.
attitude, support, you know, when you're speaking to people, obviously the professional nurse side of it, you know, when it comes to speaking with these other professionals within that arena, bill payer,
Yeah.
fundraiser,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and a happy participant. I'm sure when you see these fundraising efforts, you know, fully come together,
Yeah.
that's got to
Yeah.
be a special thing. And your
It
family
is.
doing all of this and continue to do all of this and so involved. It's just, you know, absolutely a special thing.
Oh, thank you.
What besides everybody writing a check, because it seems like the more you are doing, the more need for cash money, you know, cash, the need for funds.
Right.
Can make, you know, that word cash will disappear as the years go by.
Yes.
Funds won't. Cash will.
Yeah, cash will. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the more, you know, the need for that is, but and then obviously we'll get back to that in-person event, and that's a local effort, you know, everything goes along with it. But what are you looking for, you know, now? Is it more of the relationships with the hospitals, relationships with social workers and those in these support
That's
areas across the
primary.
nation?
That's really primary, is to, you know, everybody knows physicians, social workers in all different parts of the United States through their own contacts, or maybe, you know, a family member that moved someplace and is a social worker. So it's all pediatric based, which we should remember to mention. The foundation is pediatric cancer and chronic illnesses. So it's the pediatricians and the social workers and case managers that work in the field of peds in any hospital. We're always looking for help. Sometimes is gift cards. Sometimes, you know, people can have access. They can, you know, through their credit cards, even they cash in points and they can ask for gift cards, Visa cards, whatever, Target, Walmart. There's all these, you know, stores that are all over the United States. Those are a big help because we'll send those to families and they can purchase what they want. Amazon, we do a lot of work with Amazon. And recently we've been buying a lot of Uber cards. So that's another big one. That's a big help to get some of these families to and from the hospital. We were seeing so many of these families taking public transportation after they finished chemotherapy. It just was
Oh,
mind-boggling to me because, clinically, you're in such a compromised state and suppressed a little bit, your immune system, and now you're getting on a bus or a train to get back to wherever it is that you live. So Uber cards are a help because at least you're in a little bit of a better contained situation. So but please reach out to me. It's very easy. The foundation website is michaelmagrofoundation.com, or you can just email me. It's tmagro@magrofoundation.com. And I'd love to talk to anybody that would be interested or be able to connect us in some way through an email connection, simple, with a social worker or a physician in the world of peds anywhere in the United States.
Terri, thank you. Again, I'm so sorry about the situation that put you into starting the foundation, but it's just absolutely wonderful what you and your entire family has done and continues to do to support those that are going through the cancer, that need the help, that they don't even know they need the help. And through the social worker, they get a gift card showing up for something. It's like, that must put smiles on faces. And you just have to imagine you're putting smiles on so many faces that you may never see. You
That's
just may
right.
never see
We
that.
don't see most of them, but that's okay because we know that, we're touching those people, and that each one of those touches just makes me smile inside. So that's what keeps us going every single day, just knowing that we're helping somebody in some small way.
That magic word appears yet again. Just. It's just. It's never just. The effort that goes, we just do these events. We just do. You're a beautiful person. Thank you so much for this
Thanks,
morning,
Brad.
and for the ability of, for arranging to interviews, for us to get to know some of the folks that are part of the foundation going forward. So it's great stuff. Terri,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian. Take care. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
The nonprofit community needs so much assistance, in so many different ways, that's there. And then helping them grow is important to them. Helping them grow, and you could define your own them, whatever that nonprofit is. Gosh, be nice to support everybody's everything. I know that's sometimes not realistic, but supporting the one that that certainly means the most to you. But there's certainly an absolute number, an infinite number of ways to go out there and do that. So just go, in this case, take a look at the website for the Michael Magro Foundation and see what's going on. Your area of expertise could certainly be used, within their efforts. You go take a look, and see what it is, where you might be able to assist, with that. And the reality is that there's so many of us that have been affected by so many different diseases, along the way. And it is a great feeling to be able to help. Do you have to see the smile that you put on somebody's face, the absolute recipient? No, no, it's nice to, but it's not part of it. You need to just know that. But you're going to be putting a smile on those that you're volunteering with. You're going to be helping to inspire those that you are working and volunteering with, as you do it. And there's always good things that come out of good things that you do when you're working with good people. And that is really truly it. We'll put the links up for everything. Do what you feel is right in your heart, supporting the Magro Foundation, supporting your nonprofit, whether it be time, energy, effort, writing a check, whatever it might be. But just go out there and do that. Make that work. Make it work for you. All right. And as always, you definitely need to speak well, speak often, and live inspired. Helps other people every day, each and every day. Have a wonderful day, and stick around this week. You're going to meet some fascinating people that just do fascinating things.